Hello there, Internet, and you super creatures of the beyond. Welcome back to Underrail. Ooh, I haven't seen these guys. Oculist Whisperers. So as you can see, this place is very, very well protected. And if you don't have high enough perception, you won't even see these guys. The robed figure quietly something something. Quietly assesses you. Now we can take them. Well, you can bump into them by accident and kind of make them show up. Which is really cool because you're not used to seeing characters as powerful as you. Because this is how you are to the enemy most of the time. They won't see you until they bump into you. And it's scary. So, the cool thing about the Oculus is that it's freaking fantastic. It's so rich into lore. Well, not all the lore, obviously. It has bits and pieces of information that whew, can take you down the conspiracy theory of this game. Really, 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 really to its depths, you know, and kind of like be curious what it offers you next. It's like a piece of. Oh, shoot, yeah. Let's not do that. Maybe we should try to be invisible, see if that works. Maybe they don't see me. Oh, oh! Hacking 100. I don't see me yet. Hacking 100. Yeah, we can do it. Hey! Naughty, naughty. You little son of a oculist. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We did it. Now we go out. And now we go back. Now we can open it. Oh, still cat. I got a cat. It's a kitten. It is a kitten. No, no! You little bastard. So yeah, we can find some really interesting guns here. Maybe even sell them. Definitely taking everything on speed. Oculite. Oh shoot. Didn't see you. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna try to kind of snuggle between these boxes, see what we can get. Apparently we have to take a bit of a distance. Ah, so many of these guys. Ah, can I be so lucky? Yes, stole everything. Yeah, yeah, you see me, you see me. Oh, there's a rift here. Damn it. Oh, I'm too close to him. Can I though? Let's go see. No, I cannot. Let us have a nice drink. Where is it? Maybe I didn't even need to drink it, did I? Let me see. Oh, I don't, because I still have the second site active. Attune yourself. Perfect. Now we can teleport here super fast. An elevator. Another boxy. Abrams, my friend. That's another boxy. These guys are just sitting all over this place. Jeez Louise. Okay, let's see. It's a three-dimensional map of the South Underrail. Ooh, techie. Computer console on access level 1. Use a keycard? What keycard? I don't have any keycards. What if we try to hack it? We can hack level 2 and level 3, I think. Let's try level 3. Success. Maximum access reached. Yeah! Can I do the other hacking as well? No. Browse anomalies, browse personal files, browse project files, and Biocorp files. Oh, we hit the jackpot. Okay, let's go with anomalies. Siphoner Man. Anomaly type, undiscovered species, potential hybrid. Recently acquired information mentioned the existence of a siphoner man. Several sources vaguely describe it as a bipedal humanoid creature, highly intelligent, and according to one source, even being capable of using language. So far, no proof of its existence is available, but the increasing number of such claims, while from unreliable sources, should not be ignored or treated as a hoax until more information can be acquired. No further information is available. Sorry. Hmm. Personal, not personal. Project files. Well, no. Let's not jump that far. Personal. Whoa. Whoa. That's quite a lot. We'll get to everything. Biocorp. So we have Old Biocorp, Reform Biocorp, Protectorate Biocorp. Oh. Now this is where we learn about the true Biocorp information, the details. So let's go with Old Biocorp. When we talk about Old Biocorp, we are talking about the ancient organization that created the ruler Underrail and ruled Underrail for centuries. They've built, maintained, and policed the entire Underrail, which was at the time a unified place where the people lived and worked. So it was like a very huge complex that spanned for the entirety of the Underrail, and the Underrail was just the means of transportation between these places. So Biocorp was governed by 3 tiers of technocrats. It is unknown whether these were elected or otherwise appointed, and how long their mandates lasted. What is known, however, is that the top tier technocrats were known as the apex technocrats, and that they held significant executive power. Ooh. So hundreds of years, can you imagine the old Biocorp? So this means this world is at least 200, 300 years old. The world we're in, maybe even more. Since the Underrail was here. And it kind of makes sense because the structures are dilapidated and some places look worse than others. And this doesn't happen in just a few decades. It does take 100 years at least, so showing that these walls underneath have hundreds of years starts to show. especially since we can see that the structures, the integrity of the structures, made some interesting cave-ins due to the recent earthquakes. BioCorp ran numerous research and infrastructure projects in constant effort to improve Underrail, while at the same time pursuing increasingly isolationist attitude toward the outside world. What happened on the outside world, I wonder? The dangers of the world were deemed too great, and the final goal was to make Underrail an environment that is completely self-sustained. So they wanted to make life here possible as it was outside, because outside something happened. We do not know yet what. Although this structure that we're in is a manifest of something that might or might not be related to what happened outside. Somewhere between 150 or 200 years ago, a revolt within the organization was sparked by what is known the Hollow Earth incident. So, this is what the timeline is in my mind right now. They said they were ruling for centuries. So, let's say it was 200 years or maybe 300 years underground. 300 years ago. Then 100 or 150 years, a new revolt came out, and I believe that shook down the organization. The Hollow Earth incident, which we will learn a lot about later on. The detail of why and how this revolt came to be are lacking, but it is likely to be at least partially brought about by the fact that the Underrail could no longer support a large population that inhabited it. Questions of immoral experimentation and corruption were also raised, but to what degree this played a part in causing the revolt is unknown. The apex technocrats were displaced from power, though most of them were not apprehended. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Civil wars erupted all over Underrail, and Biocorp dissolved into many small factions. Many technocrats and scientists and engineers in general died in the following years. Biocorp was no more. But we are talking about old Biocorp. Reformed Biocorp. Almost 100 years have passed since Biocorp dissolved. Dissolved Underrail is a chaotic and dangerous place now. Bandits roam the railroad in between heavily entrenched sovereign station states. So, sovereign station states. Can you imagine how huge this Underrail is? And the action is taking part in a small corner. Well, they say in the south, but the Underrail is much, much more vaster than this, I suppose. A group of scientists, because we're talking about nations, so we are in the southern nation. There is a northern nation, but there could be other nations as well. And we will find more information about that later on, I suppose. A group of scientists and engineers decided to resurrect the venerable Biocorp organization. They restored the old places of power, core, hexagon, and this. This core is here, hexagon and this are in the north. So these were main centers, I suppose. The new Biocorp was also ruled by a council of technocrats residing in this. The order was kept by highly trained Biocorp security forces. Oh. So this was the renaissance of the Biocorp under new leadership, but... So almost 100 years have passed since Biocorp dissolved. Ah. Okay. So the timeline should be around 200 to 300 years. Somewhere around there. And it makes sense. In this period, the Biocorp history is known as the New Biocorp, Reformed Biocorp, or Second Biocorp. It lasted a lot shorter than the old Biocorp, however. Following the Protectorate's takeover of this, the capital of Biocorp, So again, Biocorp has fractured again because the Protectorate has usurped its leaders. The elements of discontent in the core city hierarchy used the opportunity to stage a revolt. This revolt was led by second in command of the core city security forces, Archibald Knight, who was later joined in his fight by Rupert Simmons, one of the higher ranking Biocorp technocrats. Though Protectorate likes to claim that the Biocorp power structure was adapted and integrated into United Stations, everyone within the organization agreed that all the power players of the reformed Biocorp were either killed or incarcerated or they fled. This ended the second incarnation of Biocorp. Interesting. Protectorate Biocorp. Today, what remains of the second Biocorp is completely under the Protectorate's rule. So, the Protectorate can't actually be super, how should I say, innocent, because they did integrate some of the Biocorp's means. And Biocorp, now, well, there's a lot of shades of gray in between. You can't say it's Biocorp was evil or good, but having so many internal factions means that everybody had a different view and a different path on how they wanted to do this. And when they started splitting, the fracture happened. And it seems probably the first Biocorp, the old Biocorp, was well, maybe it became a stretch too thin, and then it lost control. And there is more information about that later on in the game, but the old Biocorp had it coming in the sense that all empires that rise eventually have a breaking point if they don't manage themselves correctly. And probably that is what happened. And of course there are other issues as well, but we'll get into that later on. Hexagon, though largely self-governed, is also a part of United Stations. Core City is an independent city mostly focused on violent sports, entertainment, and trade, though a local organization by the name of Cortec did inherit some of Biocorp facilities and projects. The technocrats are all gone, and the organization is ruled by United Stations Minister of Science, who of course is directly appointed by the Protectorate High Command. So, in a way, the reason why these huge cities haven't gone to war or anything like that is because they still have that Biocorp mentality incorporated into them. They know they are allies, in a way, but they try to kind of have their own control power over their turfs. So they're not, well, at least they're not going to war for now. But then again, they also understand that it would not be sustainable from a resource point of view to go to war, because this civilization is kind of fighting for scraps at this point. Sure, there is somewhat a commodicum of normality here and there, but like SGS, for example, is still a highly developed society on its own, but it needed to integrate new citizens to keep itself working condition, though it has gone through some challenges itself. And even though it is well equipped, it's a small station, and even there we can see that there are some, let's call them vulnerabilities, that if poked too hard, they can also bend the knee, make it just bend into its knees, you know? So everybody kind of understands that full-scale attacks between themselves are not gonna keep them alive, as we clearly saw with what happened between SGS and Omega, and it seems SGS still has some wounds to lick after that. Okay. Now let's go into the project files. Project Arc Biocorp. They're all Biocorp, by the way. So participants Olexi, okay, Makar, geneticist. Wit Nosek, remember that name, geneticist. Njord Abbott, chemist. Location Pansea Lab, Upper Underlay. Panacea Lab, sorry. Little is known about this project aside from that it is most certainly dealt with human life longevity research. Ah, this kind of goes back to Wyatt Pierre that we've met in the junkyard, and how he is the result of something like that. Although, how is Erza involved in all of this? That is an interesting question. What? That's all? Perhaps Erza is not his real name, like just how it was with Murder. So maybe Erza is either one of these three guys? Although Erza deals with electronics, so interesting. I don't know. We shall see. Project Arima Biocorp. Organization Old Biocorp. Maybe I should read. Non-participants with Nosek. Again, this guy. Geneticist. Njord Abbott, chemist. Location unknown. Purpose unknown. The first organization was Old Biocorp as well. So Old Biocorp means hundreds of years, 200 to 300 years. So Ezra might be super old, super ancient. Because remember, Pierre White has been living for at least 100 years, as it seems. So it is conceivable that Ezra might have used that, well, biotechnology on himself to prolong his life. He does look kind of in a mess, to be honest, so who knows? Phenotype dynamics. So Old Biocorp, non-participant with Nosek, the geneticist. So it is possible that with Nosek might be Ezra. We don't know. That's just my theory. It's a long stretch, but who knows? Location unknown. What is known about this project dealt with using mutagens to dynamically change phenotypes of a living being in its mature state. It is also known that much of the controversy that surrounds the Hollow Earth incident is related to this project. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not with Nosek. We never know about these things. But using mutagen to dynamically change phenotypes of living beings. What the hell is a phenotype? Phenotype. The observable physical of biochemical characteristics of an organism or as determined by both genetic makeup and environmental influences. The expression of a specific trait, such as a statue of blood type based on genetic and environmental influences, an individual or group of organisms exhibiting a particular phenotype. Uh-huh. So it's more like experimenting. Well, in simple terms, it's like trying to speed up evolution, but in a programmatic way, where they have control over the genes and the traits. But again, this is a geneticist, so probably it's all bioengineered because they're talking about mutagens. So probably that is one of the factors that brought the Hollow Earth incident in the first place. We will learn more about that, I promise. It is a rather hefty and husky topic because, oh, this game is just full of surprises. But that is really, really cool. Okay. Personal files. Silas Edgar. With Nosek. Alvin Aidan. Aidan is also interesting. And Norman Hack, Midterm, Kelvin. No Ezra mentioned in here. So let's read about with Nosek. With Nosek, profession geneticist. Alignment, Old Biocorp. Old Biocorp Renegade. Involved in Phenotype Dynamics Biocorp, Project Arima Biocorp, and Project Art Biocorp. Other various Biocorp projects which are not mentioned. Witt was a second circle scientist, meaning that most of his personal and professional info was classified, resulting in very limited information we have on him today. Witt was dismissed from Arima by an unknown member of the first circle. He spent several years on minor projects before being reassigned to Project Arc. Following the Hollow Earth incident, Witt defected from Biocorp, and from that point in time, his movements remain largely unknown. It is likely, though, that assuming he's still alive and scientifically active, he would choose Core City as his residence, where he would be out of reach of Biocorp and Protectorate while still having access to some scientific equipment. Interesting. Hadrian Tanner. Position Council. Current residence Southgate Station. Alignment Southgate Station. Hadrian Tanner is one of the leaders of the SGS. He is widely considered to be the most influential man in the station, though it seems he takes effort in downplaying this. SGS steadily rose to power since Hadrian joined it. There is no record of Hadrian Tanner prior to him joining SGS, and all attempts to trace back to his history have failed so far. It is suspected that Hadrian is actually just an alias. Interesting. So we don't know anything about this man's history. We might try to confront him about that. This information is so yummy. Vera Hale. So she's from SGS. Vera Hale is one of the leaders of SGS. She is known for her support of Protectorate and United Stations idea. Vera migrated from the North Underrail, where she worked as a deputy to the Minister of Trade of the United Stations. She was dismissed from this position for unknown reasons. Vera is credited of being pivotal negotiator in many trade agreements with neighboring communities such as Junkyard Camp Hathor and Protectorate Junkyard Embassy and SRO, I suppose. We'll get into SRO later. These trade agreements are hailed as a significant factor of SGS prosperity. So probably something. I mean, I see SGS sort of like this weird hybrid in Underrail because everybody that goes there seems to have a double life. Tanner, Ezra, Vera, uh, that guy's brother, I forgot his name, Pete or whatever. Then we had Murder, and yeah, it seems like it's a place where you go and your past is forgotten in a way, or nobody asks too many questions about your past, and you're accepted there if you can provide and ensure that SGS becomes prosperous, which makes sense because if we look at this guy's talents and skills, Vera is a great negotiator. Tanner seems to have very good leadership skills. Then you have ex protectorate assassins and um, people who were tracing and eliminating those assassins as well included in that place. So it is quite an interesting place. It's not very clear what the leadership status of SGS is, but interestingly enough, old Jonas is part of the council, and he is just an old geezer who's also a scavenger. But then again, every time we go to him, he also brings us really good stuff. So everybody there is a person of great talent. In a way, it feels like something more unique. We'll get to that later on. We shall see. Let's see, who else do we have here? Gorsky! His name is Yevny Gorsky Zolnerovic. Zolnerovic. So Yevny is almost exclusively known for his alias Gorsky. The origin of the meaning of the alias is unknown. He was a member of a number of gangs in time before the revolution in Core City. Shortly after the revolution, he left Core City and eventually ended up in Southgate Station. Gorsky, another powerful representative with many skills. Gorsky is well known on the street of Core City and in other lower Underrail communities of South as an audacious fighter who rarely backs down. It is suspected that Gorsky was trained as a professional soldier in his youth, but it is uncertain where he would have gotten this training since all attempts to link him to Biocorp security forces returned negative results. Gorsky still maintains contact with a number of minor factions in Core City, most notably the Zone Rats. So, one thing to keep in mind is that his name suggests that he is not from southern or northern Underrail. He might be from further away. Could be just a name coincidence, who knows. But he clearly seems like a person who was set to infiltrate and manipulate the forces that played maybe a pivotal role in Core City at least. It's maybe not a stretch to consider that Gorsky might have played a part in the downfall of the revolution 15 years ago. Well, not revolution, I mean of the riots. Possible. Who knows? Let's see what else do we have here. Silas. Gang leader. Current position junkyard. Black Eels. Black Eels. Silas is the leader of Black Eels, a junkyard gang that controls its docks, the Chancer's Bay, as well as the rig. Ah, a platform between junkyard and core city. So the thing is, like, if you're good with Black Eels, then it's possible that you might have a good time in the expedition part on the Black Sea. We'll see, we'll see. This is really cool. It's like it pays off. I didn't even consider this when I joined the Black Eels. I joined them because their quests is more fascinating than the junkyards. But yeah, cool. It is unknown whether Silas is an alias or his real name. Well, we shall never know. Usually, all these leaders have mysterious pasts, it seems. Edward Wheeler. He is the gang leader of the junkyard. Eddie is the leader of the Scrappers, a junkyard gang that controls the access to Depot A, also known as Old Junkyard, the biggest scavenger's playground. Unfortunately, he's also dead. Harv Fontaine, militia captain. He is in Rail Crossing and is aligned with Rail Crossing. Harv is the captain of Rail Crossing militia and unofficial acting mayor. Not a lot of information here. Edgar Graham. He is from Camp Hathor. Edgar is the leader of Camp Hathor. He is known as one of the most skillful hunters of South Underrail. That he is. He did teach us that hunting technique. Martin Marshall. So he's a mayor in Foundry. Martin is the current elected mayor in Foundry. Nothing special about him. Dalton Banner, who is also from Foundry and he's the chief guard, is currently elected chief of Foundry Guard. Nothing special. Rupert Simmons, CEO in Core City from Core Tech. Rupert was one of the high-ranking Biocorp technocrats before joining Core City rebellion. Today, he is one of the three ruling oligarchs. Rupert and his company, Core Tech, play a key part in the infrastructural maintenance of the arena, as well as the gauntlet, the latter being solely their creation. So they're what are they called? Pioneers of inventing new ways to murder people between themselves. Gunnar Edstrom. He's in Core City. He's JKK. He's a renowned trader. Moved to Core City quite a number of years after the rebellion, and managed to work himself and his company into the ruling oligarchy by playing a mediator between the two major conflicting factions, Corten and Praetorian Security. So there were some frictions there. Gunnar, his family, and his associates came from somewhere in the East Underrail. As I said, the Underrail might be much more larger than it seems. But the exact location is unknown, as are his previous business undertakings. There are rumors, though, that at one point prior to this arrival into Core City, he was involved with slave trade, in slave trading. His company Broadcast Arena Now and Gauntlet channels are also supplies some of the most exciting challenges. Interesting. Archibald Knight. He is in Core City, Praetorian Security. He's the position of chief. Archibald was once the second in command of Core City security forces. After Protectorate invaded Biocorp in the north, Archibald led a successful revolt against Biocorp in the Core City. So I think they synchronized somehow, or they communicated. He's one of the three oligarchs ruling Core City and commands a large armed forces in the city. He is a major owner of the arena. Probably afterwards, after the rebellion that started um, in the north, probably in Hexagon or in Tis, then they saw the opportunity and understood that they can take this part of the Biocorp. Can you imagine a Biocorp in the south trying to retake? Yeah, that would be a crazy thing. Although, yeah, these big powers always fight over the scraps of the big empires. It's only history that's repeating itself. Wait, no sec, we run that. Anton Matviv. He was alias White. White. Wait, does the other one have an alias? No. He's from Old Biocorp, involved in the project mentioned before, various projects related to transgenetics, psymorphism, and transhumanism. Basically, they were probably trying to enhance the psi abilities of humans. Who knows? I do suspect that they were trying to create a new breed of psionics or a psionic army to maybe counteract the dangers from the surface. Possibly. We shall never know. They did say that old Biocorp had very controversial experiments. In addition to often being accused of running unconsented human experiments, Anton was infamous in old Biocorp for hideous self-experimentation. Ah. Anton was also rumored to be a powerful tough controller. Along with a number of high-ranking technocrats, Anton was removed from power, sometimes during the chaos that ensued after the Hollow Earth incident, but was never apprehended. Wait a second. Ezra? Let's see what Ezra teaches. Abilities, mental opportunist. I'm looking at his biography on Wiki. Um, Psionic yeah, Ezra can train tough control psi skills. Ah. Okay. Interesting. So I was wrong. Maybe Ezra is this Anton Matveev guy. Because if you're going the psionic part, he's one of the trainers that teach you about thought control. Very, very interesting. Back. What else can we read here? Kirill Vovin Gavrilyuk. So maybe this guy came from the east, like Gorsky. I think we don't know much about the west, but maybe we'll learn that about the west development things as well. Interesting to know that Biocorp is not the only player in Underrail. There were other big corporations, but we'll get to that in due time. So as I suspect, Underrail is it's a vast network, and they do say they have like this basically countries at this point involved in the project with Project Ascendance, various projects related to transgenetics, psymorphism, and transhumanitarian. Kirill was known as Vovin, Dragon, in the inner circles of old Biocorp, possibly due to his psionic abilities. According to some records, all of Apex technocrats, Kirill held the most power, and many projects that took place in years leading to the Biocorp fallout were undertaken on his command. So this Kirill guy had more power. Actually, it's not said. Interesting. It's a bit confusing. These guys were quite complex. According to some records, okay, so projects, along with a number of other high-ranking technocrats, Kirill was removed from power, sometimes during the chaos and ensued after the Hollow Earth incident, but was never apprehended. Several high-profile customers have offered considerable amounts of money in exchange for learning Kirill's location. Customers about what? Probably they want to recover the information he had about these projects. Interesting. Should remember these three names. So Anton might be Ezra with Notsek. He was from the second circle of scientists, so he was under the command of Kirill, and Anton doesn't say which circle he's part of. Alias White. Weird. More. I know I'm taking it slow, but everything has little crumbs of information that connect into one another. If all of this might seem boring or not interesting, you can totally jump this video because I'm just gonna go through all of them. But all of these characters, the more we know them, and the more we dwell into their past, can paint the picture of what is going on with the Underrail, because it's never told to us. The history is written in hieroglyphs, more or less. Frederick Cat Chart. There are some people who know about its history, maybe the entire history, but they're elusive, and even they don't tell everything. So it's up to us to put the pieces together. Position: commanding officer of Underrail Protectorate forces in South Underrail. He was a colonel, age 54. Current residence: Fort Apogee, Upper Underrail. So he is in the Upper Underrail. Underrail Protectorate. Colonel Cat Cart arrived to South Underrail 5 years ago as a commander of the South Underrail Expedition Brigade, but would soon receive command of the Protectorate troops in the region, with Fort Apogee being their primary base of operations. He has been the only commanding officer of Fort Apogee as of yet. Now, not much is known about his historical prior to the fall of the reformed Biocorp. Some sources state that he was a soldier or a junior officer among Protectorate rank during the takeover. Others that he wasn't taking part in combat at all. Only a few years after these events took place does his name officially appear. preceded by the rank of lieutenant. He has been married twice, and both have ended in divorce. Kerry Oliver. So he's a counsel, age 42, current resident, Fort Apogee, Upper Underrail, United Station, United Protectorate, Underrail Protectorate. Kerry Oliver is the official appointed consul of the Fort Apogee Consulate, Upper Underrail, and has been on that position for 5 years. Again, 5 years, both of them. He was nominated from this position by the United States then Minister of Foreign Affairs Nick Thompson, his former professor of politics science at the University of this pre-protectorate Biocorp. While he has exposed his concern with some of the protectorate activities in South Underrail, several intercepted correspondences with his colleague from the United States suggest, and most during his first year in office, he never took any further action in that regard. He's officially stayed out of military affairs. He is married to Linda Oliver, with whom he has 2 children: son Magnus, allegedly named after an old world chess grandmaster, and a daughter Aida, named after the Old World Music Theatre play of the same name. Again, not much information is given to us. Of course, we can look on the internet who Magnus is. Actually, let me just check. Magnus Chess. Magnus Charles. Born in 1990. He's from Norway. Interesting. And Aida Theater. It's a musical based on an opera of the same name written by Antonio Ghisalzoni with music by Giuseppe Verdi. Oh, I see. I never know about this one. Or maybe I do and I'm not remembering it right now. Interesting. So, these are references to our current day. Well, to our history. So, basically, we are on Earth. That is a good thing. We don't know what happened to Earth, but we are on Earth. Just a second. Let me make sure that the game doesn't freak out on me. Alvin Bate. Free Drones, South Underrail cell leader. Another thing that I noticed, the north part of the Underrail is more civilized, although people in the South Underrail call them wimps, because probably most of the people there are more on the cultural side, but the South Underrail is more of a no man's land in a way that rules come and go. Probably the North had a foothold, or maybe it kept South under control to some degree. But here is where most of the crazy experimentation have happened in regard to some of the weird things that we encounter in the underrails. Now, about the east or west underrails, we have little information as of yet, but who knows? We shall see. So, he's the age between 30 and 40 and resides in Free Dawn under Passage Base. That's an interesting location that gives us. Alvin Bate is one of the leaders of the Free Drones, primarily cell in South Underrail, alongside Corbin Trenton and formerly Marcella Green. Okay. Little information on his life before joining the Free Drones exists. He is presumed to have arrived in South Underrail with the first Free Drones, and that he is one of the original founders of the region's primary cell. He is only known family member is an alleged daughter, Mila Bate, currently located in this North Underrail. Cool. So it's so awesome that we are being presented visually the future of Underrail 2 and all of these places. And I suspect that a lot of what we learn in the south will transcend into the Underrail 2, into the north. And we will see a lot of, not necessarily Easter eggs, but a lot of compelling evidence that if you didn't play Underrail 1, you might not get the full picture in Underrail 2. So fully immersing yourself in all of this information in Underrail 1 is going to make Underrail 2 a far more intriguing place to explore and learn about. Okay, let's go back. Aidan, now this guy is quite an interesting one. Aidan Travers, position leader of the Institute of Torch, place of birth unknown, age unknown, supposedly to be over 100 years, which is peanuts in comparison to Ezra. Current resident, Institute of Torch, Upper Underrail. No information of Aidan's life before the foundation of the Institute of Torch exists outside the Torch's sources. According to this, Aidan was a biocorp scientist who about a century ago, so 100 years, first discovered and interacted with Torch, a primordial creature and the subject of the Torchist worship. Now, how exactly he founded the institute and why and the way in which he manages is poorly understood. But what is certain is that he has maintained a secretive, isolationist policy for most of the institute's existence. Aidan's longevity is claimed to be due to the applications of research done on torch science, for torchists do not share their research data with the outside world. This claim cannot be verified in any way. It is, of course, possible that Aidan has been more than one person since the Institute's foundation, since his actual appearance has never been made known. Furthermore, his pose the question of whether Aidan has remained cybernetically unenhanced, as well as whether Aidan is actually a human at all. So we will learn more about him. So all we know is that he was a biocorp scientist. Well, it's presumed. But which biocorp did he belong to? Well, clearly he belonged to the old biocorp. But... or maybe not. Maybe it was the reformed biocorp. Because it's not mentioned. But then again, we never know. We shall discover later on, I suppose. Because I'm saying new biocorp, even though he is 100 years, or over 100 years, even if he attained mortality, he would still need to live part of his life, like maybe 60, 70, maybe even 80 years, normal age, and then he enhanced himself, so that's 20 years of extra enhancement of longevity. Who knows? Nobody knows. For now, nobody knows. Hank Wardwell. Unavailable. Who the hell that guy is, we don't know at the moment. Meet Draper. So, alias Scalp, Grid Fixer, Transfixer, Freak. Oh, we are looking for a freak. Place of birth unknown. Name Meet Draper. Interesting. Age. Exact age unknown, but how do you read this? Purported to be in his 60s. Current residence, South Underrail. Exact location unknown, although several of these hideouts in Upper Underrail were discovered. they are currently vacant. Little is known of his origin other that he is suspected to have been working at the Biocorp Cybernetics Center in this until its takeover. So the new Biocorp. Exact position unknown, but suspected to be software security related. One incomplete record suggests that he has been a wanted delinquent and that his skills are what managed to earn him such respectable employment. In recent years, he has been involved in numerous and often illegal activities across South Underrail. These include software and hardware hacking, forgery, manufacture, modifications, and trading of various security breaching and manipulating devices, and similar. Reliable reports indicate that these activities have caused him problems with numerous organizations, groups, and individuals, some of them being his former clients. Confirmed to have managed to exploit various functionalities of the out of commission Metro emergency system, which he is accessing through numerous emergency phones by means currently unknown. It is not yet clear to what extent the emergency system can be used, but what is known so far is that it can at least provide access to a certain utility site, and that by extension, equipment and systems. Oh, meet a Draper. Hmm. Norman Hank. So as you can see, this Oculus can really get deep hidden information. We don't know how, but apparently it does. Possibly it's a psionic nature. Possibly. Norman Hack. Place of birth North Underrail, location unknown, current residence Con City, profession linguist involved in creation of Advontang. Professor Norman Hank, currently resigned in Core City, is the creator of Advontang, a language so far only in use by Hank himself and several other individuals, all of them his students. Hank relocated from North Underrail to South Underrail to, as Gather Intel suggests, further develop the tech Advontang to several students. It is suggested that he experienced certain issues in North Underrail which forced him to relocate. There is no evidence that Hack has aligned himself with any of the major factions in the Southern Underrail, at least not currently. Still, it is important to take note that of the language itself, as it has potential of being used as a code language. Oh, this the optional puzzles in these games are very hardcore and do require a very analytical mind. They're not easy to decipher. Kevin Gray. Foundry Guard Overseer, known to be involved in illegal arms trades, most of which take place in the Foundry itself, and according to multiple reports also includes Foundry Guard's own equipment. Nothing important. Cadmus Green. Captain of Grim Jetters. Location of birth unknown, age unknown, current residence Black Sea, Hell's God, alignment Grim's Jetters. He is the founder of the current leader of the Grim Jetters pirate group. So he's the pirate captain. Little is known about Captain Grim. He and Grim Jetters first gained notoriety by successfully raiding well-defended United States convoys through highly advanced naval tactics. So he was a very good tactician. After the Grim Jetters absorbed the smaller pirate groups and grew in size in the following years, Grim has pretty much completely retired from raiding. It is presumed that he now commands all his subordinates from Grim Jetter's hideout in the Black Sea. One source claims Cadmus arrived from North Underrail, but the claim has never been verified. Well, we might find some new information. Or we might not. If you play on the pirate side, he might reveal some more information about himself. But since we will not choose that path, because I want to present you more cool information about Underrail and the expeditions, we're gonna go with Aegis. Richard Briggs. So, alias Nan, Chief of Aegis Incorporated, place of birth unknown, 45. He's in this North Underrail, Alignment Underrail Protectorate, Aegis Incorporated. He is one of the founders of Aegis Incorporated, a security company from North Underrail. Fought with Underrail Protectorate against Biocorp armed forces during the takeover of this. So he's part of the revolt. An exploding 30mm round completely destroyed his left arm and caused him severe nerve damage, from which he recovered for several years. The arm has since been replaced with a cybernetic prosthesis. So, biomechanical engineering is a thing, but probably more in the north, because I haven't seen it in the south at all. Well, except maybe Ezra that has that cybernetic eye, but most people here are kind of scrubs. They can't afford such things. Well, also that Ironhead dude, I forgot, Balor, yeah, also had a cybernetic eye. Interesting. So cyborgs, in a way, are a thing in this game, to some extent. But maybe a little bit more brought down to earth. Like we're watching a watch, we're watching a watch, we're wearing a watch. Maybe that's how they wear prosthetic eyes and limbs and so on. After his recuperation, he co-founded Aegis Incorporated with Francis White. A notable businessman from North Underrail, and appointed himself Chief of Security. He is married to Jane Briggs, with whom he does not have any children. He is currently in South Underrail, as Aegis Incorporated has been hired to protect an expedition to the Black Sea, which is led by Professor Edward Oldfield from the University of this. Francis White. Oh, we have Francis White. Because I was thinking, like... Not wheat. This is WIGHT. Never mind. Let's go, Francis White. So, Big Frank, position owner of numerous companies. Place of birth North Underrail. Exact location unknown, age 59, resides in this North Underrail. He is a successful businessman from North Underrail and the owner of numerous but mostly small businesses, the large one being Aegis Incorporated, a security company formed in North Underrail, of which he is a co-founder and co-owner. He was born into a poor family and lived most of his life on the rails, traveling from one place to another. He worked various jobs over the years until he finally started his own electronics store in Hexagon. Which also is called Hex. His business proved lucrative, allowing him to gradually acquire other small businesses and prototypes, even though he has never achieved the status of business management. He is nonetheless considered to be one of the most successful businessmen in North Underrail and a true example of rags to rich success story. He has 7 children with Sheila Pagani, former personal associate and now his wife. Contrary to his nickname, he is rather thin built, or as Kenneth Kramer, a This Today journalist, described it, rather ghoulish. Hmm. Hmm. So at the moment, we should be more concerned with Anton, with Nosek, and I'm not sure about Kirill, but yeah, these three names are very pivotal to what's happening in the current Underrail. Also, remember when the dude said, be careful of sixes, because like hexagon and stuff like that? There is actually a trend throughout the game with sixes, and we'll discover one six over here that stands very clearly out. And the dude did give us a piece of, well, not advice, it was more like a warning to be careful of sixes. And we'll see why. Use the Constantine. Talk to Constantine at the bottom of the Oculus. Yeah, the Oculus has various levels. So this place is huge, has a lot of information. We'll go through all of it slowly. But yeah, this episode has been more of a deep dive into the lore and characters, and I really think that this will make the game so much more pleasurable when we will smash our heads into all of these things that will come at us in the future episodes, all of the events and so on, when we'll sink our teeth into the carnal pleasures of this game. Okay, guys, stay awesome and catch you next time. Bye.